Hey everybody, you're tuned into LennyTV, and I'm here with Alyssa, and she's gonna break down to us like what got her into poetry. And I met her last week at the open mic, right?
Awesome.
All right, and it was I loved your poems. You're so like, I don't want to say emotional, but I can feel your passion, you know. So when you're telling your poetry, I can feel your passion, and I'm just like, damn, she got it. So, how did you start poetry? What got you into it?
Well, I've pretty much been writing since I was 8, but I wasn't necessarily writing spoken word. I was merely just like writing to get my feelings under control. And the more I write, or the more I wrote, I started to find like peace of mind, I guess, and happiness in life. And I believe I was in 8th grade and I came across this poet called Sister Queen, and she was on Def Jam Poetry. And she had this piece called Try Being a Lady. And then I was listening to her and I was like, damn, I do this. And then from that day I was just like, I'm gonna label myself a poet. And then that's what it was.
Wow. Try Being a Lady. What year was this?
I graduated high school in 2012. So that was probably about like 2007, 2008 when I came across it. I was in 8th grade. So I remember that.
Wow, we're like the same age. I graduated in 2012 too.
Really?
High school, yeah. So, what high school did you go to?
Howard.
Howard, okay. Did you like it there?
I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I got used to it. It's like going to an HBCU, but in the high school platform. It's cool.
When you do your poetry, most of the times do you want like dark-skinned women relating to how you feel and things like that? And what have you been through? What have you gone through as a dark-skinned woman growing up here in Delaware?
I mean, when I'm writing my poetry, it's not necessarily for like dark-skinned girls, but for the most part, it's like women empowerment, like getting them to understand their worth and like uplifting black men, you know? So like I speak on politics, I speak on love, I speak on heartbreak, and sometimes I just take on random topics. So, you know, it's like, you know, it is what it is. But when it comes to like being dark skinned, I get a lot of, you know, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl, or you're cute for a dark skinned girl, or stuff around that nature. Like one time a girl wrote me in my DMs on Instagram and she was just like, I don't even like dark skinned women, but you're cute for a dark skinned girl. I don't know, like that was supposed to be a compliment or something. So I don't know. It's kind of weird how they appreciate us only when social media appreciates us, but other than that, it's like, we don't do that. So
Isn't it weird, or like, it used to irritate me, and it used to mind boggle me too. If somebody would say like, you know, you're a cute black, like a cute dark skinned guy or something like that. Like they're like, oh, you know, I don't really like talk to dark skinned guys, but you look okay. And it's like, damn, so that means all light skinned people are just beautiful, like,
and all brown skin is attractive, and like if I find you attractive as a dark skinned man or a woman, then you should feel pleased. Like that's so lame to me. And then it's like they try to like take away people's confidence. So like if someone is with a darker color and they're confident within who they are, then it's like, I don't even know, she not like, if you can feel cute being a light skin or a brown skin, why can't I be in a dark skin? Like it's frustrating.
And how do you feel about sometimes about the little battles that they say, you know, dark skin versus light skin? I combine this all as one. I know you probably do too. It's like, you know, no matter what shade, we're all black, going through a crazy ass system. How do you feel about it? Like when you see certain things, it's like, you know, light skinned boys do this and dark skinned boys do that. Like, do you think it's all in fun and games on social media, or do you think they take it too far?
To an extent, I think it's all fun and games, but for the most part, like sometimes they do take it way too far. Like one time I was on social media and I came across a meme and it was like, dark-skinned girls have no reason to not text back. So I'm just like, damn, because I'm dark-skinned, I'm supposed to text you back in 0.2 seconds. I feel like if I'm not interested, I'm not gonna text you back. Just like whether I was light or I was brown or I was pink, it's all a matter of whether I'm interested or not. So I don't know, I guess like the way they portray dark skin is kind of like mind-boggling, because I see a lot of women that are dark-skinned, that battle with their, you know, self-esteem and their self-love just because of the media. So even though, you know, sometimes it is fun and games, some people are not strong enough or capable of understanding, like, you know, it's just a joke because no one knows what they've been through in their life. So it's like, I don't know, I try to stay away from it, so.
I understand. When did you start performing at open mics? When did that start for you?
Sheesh. You know, when I went to Howard, they used to do this little like showtime in the caf, so I would like perform my pieces there.
Okay.
But then I got to college, South Carolina State, and they do this thing called Bulldog Fest every year. So Bulldog Idol, look at me, I'm mistaken. So you know, they got all these acts, and you come out, and then the auditorium is jam-packed because like this is like the beginning of the year, the opening. So that was my actual first real like open mic, and halfway through my piece, I wouldn't even say halfway, I got to like 5 lines, and then I was like, sheesh, forgot my words. So everybody in the crowd is like, ooh, ooh, and I'm just like, sheesh. So then this other guy, his name was like Marcus, he came up, he was a poet, stole my 5 minutes, spit his piece, and I was just like, shitting.
Damn.
I called my mom like, I'm done, I'm never writing again. She's like, it happens to the best of us. Then, you know, they gave me another chance because they, you know, word around the street was they wasn't gonna do it. And then like I redeemed myself, so I was just known as that poet. Rejection. For one, I guess, you know, me being dark-skinned, and then I was like low-key hella overweight. So I was kind of like, you know, a low-key lame, but it's like, you know, it's cool. Whatever they consider a lame, I guess that's what I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends, you know, but I was never amongst the most popular. So now it's like, you know, when they see me, they be like, oh, she's not the same person she was in high school. Of course not, because back then I was worried about, you know, what people thought, and then I got comfortable in my skin. So, you know, now I do my own thing. So a lot of people are like, you know, she exudes confidence. It's like, because now I'm confident in myself. So now I do what I want. When I want, I wear what I want. You know, so now it's like, I'm finally comfortable in me. And it's like, that's what a lot of people hate. So it's like, it is what it is.
Why do you think we go through that stage? Because me, I always go bad for going through that stage. I'm talking about like, you talking to me though as a black man. Why do you think we go through that stage where it's like we don't see you guys at the standard of beauty?
Honestly, I feel like it has something to do with social media. Definitely, because I mean, to me, I feel like black women and black men are the most attractive, and that's just me speaking, you know. I probably would never date outside of my race, not because, you know.
Yeah, you're not racist or anything.
Yeah, just
Indians do it all the time.
Exactly. Not like, you know, I don't find other races to be attractive, but I feel like, you know, I would mesh more with my own. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. And then like, you know, if you get on social media, a lot of like black males these days are dating Caucasian females. And most of their responses are, you know, I can't date black women because they're loud, they're ghetto, they don't know their worth, they don't know this. But the same worth that y'all expect us to know is the same worth that y'all degrade every chance you get. So it's like, for me, I feel like black men cannot handle black women. That's just, you know.
The ones who go through, who say that.
Exactly.
You're right.
Because, I mean, a black woman to me is going to always stand up for herself. You understand? And they take her being loud as her being ghetto or not wanting her man to lead. But it's like, no, they expect to do whatever they want to you and think like, you know, you're just supposed to settle for it because they're the man. So they step out and they go to other races because they know it's going to be more acceptable there. That's just how I feel. Like, if you have a preference, you know, that's cool, but you don't just go around degrading your own people. And it's like your mom is black.
Exactly.
So like when you talk all this shit, do you be like, all right, I'm gonna exclude my mom and I'm gonna exclude my sister? And like for the ones that have like black daughters, like, are you excluding them out of your rant? Like, I don't know, to me I find it just crazy.
Yeah, like you lifting up somebody else and you tearing down your own. I don't understand that either. I never got it. And then I was just like, to me, like when I told you I wrote my book recently, it was like I dedicated the story to black women like all over the globe, and I said like this is the best army we have, because like no matter how many times we dog them out, reject them or something like that, y'all still got our backs, you know. Like if we got a damn court case where y'all know we ain't do shit, y'all gonna be outside that courtroom, you know, protesting, you know. So it's like even when we don't deserve it, you know?
Exactly.
So.
Black women are always on the front lines when it's time for war and whatever aspect of life you're talking, but when they step outside and, you know, when times get tough, I feel like half the time they don't show. So
now let's go into what influences you, right, when you're doing poetry. Like for example, if I'm writing something, if I'm writing a story, usually like nature or like me watching a cartoon or something that inspires me to write. What inspires you to write and get going?
Honestly, anything. But for the most part, it'll probably have something to do with me. And like the way I write my poetry, sometimes people will confuse it for someone else, but merely I'm telling my own story, but people don't dig deep enough to know that. So it's like, especially my For Darkskinned Girls piece, I wrote that about myself, but a lot of people tend to think like, you know, I wrote it from my own experience just because I knew other people would be able to relate to it, but no one ever sat and been like, hey, did you write that about you? Like, so it's like, I don't know. I was in college once and my roommate gave me Hennessy in a wine glass. And then I was like, what? At the time, you know, I thought it was wine she was in the kitchen mixing up until she gave me the Henny, and I was like, ugh. But then I was sitting there and then bam, I just started writing. So it was like, it was hella weird. And then I write pieces on like candy. I could write pieces on movie titles. I could trip up the steps and I'll write a piece. Like, seriously, like, that'll be like my opening line. I always believe in like, I don't know, for me, I know like, when I'm at an open mic or something, if you don't catch me in your first 15 seconds, then I usually tend to zone out. So like, when I'm opening my pieces, I like to get like that real, you know.
You caught everybody's attention.
Yeah. And I was sitting there with my best friend, like, oh my God, what should I write? What should I talk about? And then I was like, this piece always gets them. So I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you heard the crowd going like, oh, like yeah,
I know.
You got everybody, and I was like, wow, yes, I got to get her. I'm like, I gotta get her. And okay, so we're talking about that. What college did you go to actually?
South Carolina State.
South Carolina State. Did you like it there? Was it cool?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I went my freshman year, I really wasn't feeling that. But you know, I don't know. When I got used to it and I got down to the matter of why I'm really there, and that's to get an education and graduate. So you know, I started clinging to people, and it was an HBCU. So I feel like that was the best experience I've ever had. Like, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'd tell anybody to go to an HBCU.
Yeah, I wish I would have. Like,
I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about everything. Like, it's, I don't know, it's like a different type of atmosphere. To be around your own people just grooving and vibing is nothing better than that. Like,
so true. Yeah, I hear that a lot of times when like when our own go to HBCUs. I didn't go to one myself, but when I took an African American Studies class and stuff like that, I think that's when I woke up. I came out the sunken place.
The sunken place.
That was that damn flashlight on my head. I woke up, and I think you know, I think that's the one great thing about college. I think it's that transformation. Like you seen the new show on that boy, Dear White People?
I watched the whole thing in like 2 days.
Because like I could relate, I know you probably could relate to it. I related to it. It's like, yo, like, you know, even though I didn't go to a HBCU or anything, or we didn't have a student black union. Yeah, that's what it's called. They got different names, but we didn't have that. I could just relate to it because that's when my transformation occurred. I was one person in high school.
But when you went off to college, that's when like, I found self there. I'd say that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when you were at this is still South Carolina State, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you were there, did you have like, were you in a part of any groups? Did you do any open mics there too?
I didn't ask the open mics at South Carolina State.
Go into that.
Okay, so every year they held the Bulldog Fest, so I would do that every year. And then the health department actually had an open mic once, and they were giving away a cash prize, and you had to do a piece on like safe sex and condom and stuff like that. I won second place, and I got like $200, but I felt like I should have got first. So I ain't gonna get into that. And then I would do like a lot of competitions at state, and we actually had another university next door called Claflin, and that was an HBCU as well. So I would do a lot of open mics over there. So like most of the competitions, I'm always there. And it's like, I was just known as the poet, like the poet or the girl with the swag. So I was like winning all the competitions because I'm like, I don't want to lose. So it's like, I got to be confident in myself and my work. So, you know, whenever it was a competition, I always had to win because that's just how I always was. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, you know? So it was like, yeah, I did a lot of that. I actually won a Poet Laureate, yes, of 2016. So for South Carolina State, so that was pretty cool too. I won actually off my Darkskinned Girls piece. So yeah, I did a lot of events for people. I used to be part of this group called New Danger, and we went all over the place, like North Carolina, Alabama. I went to different parts of South Carolina. I went up to Florida. Like, I've been to a lot of places. But it was a cool experience while it lasted.
And you said you graduated in 2016?
2016.
Now, what has life been like outside of college now? Are you pursuing, like, what was your major and what are you pursuing now?
My major actually was criminal justice. And right now, you know, I've just recently, you know, like, maybe not recently, but like 6 months ago, I decided, like, all right, I'm gonna put my criminal justice degree to use and continue my writing on the side. And, you know, eventually I want to get paid to write. So hopefully, you know, I can get some places. But since I was 8, I knew I wanted to write, and I knew I wanted to be a police officer. So right now I've been, like, you know, trying to get into the force, and I'm just like, I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Awesome.
So it's like, do that until this come, or hopefully this come, and I don't gotta do that. I done racked up ass alone, so it's like,
oh my God.
No, for a sec, I did, you know, start to lose my passion, but then I did my internship with a police department, and I was like, you know, in it. But I know most of my pieces, I talk about like police brutality, black men, all that. So it's like, I feel like I cannot talk about it if I'm not willing to be a part of the solution.
Yep.
Because it's like, a lot of us, we sit around and we talk about, you know, what's going bad, but what are we doing to fix it? You know, like, we talk about the whole white officer on black male or black woman, but it's not a lot of us, you know, in the field. So it's like, we talk about a lot of things, but we're not on those boards. Like, we're not where we need to be to bring about the right justice. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, if I could be a part of the solution, you know, then why not? But it's like, even my own people look at me like I'm some type of op because I want to join the forces to protect them, like, you know, and everyone else. So it's like, I don't know, I guess the killing has gave them a bad rep, but I don't know, you just got to get in and put your best work in, and hopefully they see you for who you are, as opposed to, you know.
Yeah, sure. You're exactly right. So with me, I was the same way. I was like, you know what, I gotta go inside. First of all, these loans killing me right now, so I'm not gonna change my major and pay more loans. So
exactly. So
I dive
was
into the system, see what I can do. That's exactly what I had to do. All right, so we finished up with high school, South Carolina State. You're doing all these open mics. So now, like, you pretty much just have a name for yourself around, would you say locally or even outside the states, you got a name for yourself?
I mean, I've established one while I was down in South Carolina, you know, with school and whatnot. But right now, I'm trying to get one here in Delaware. Since I've been back, I really haven't been to a lot of open mics. I actually haven't been to a lot of anything. I've just been, like, you know, cooped up. So I want to get really famous on social media as well. Funny thing is, when I was, you know, doing my spoken word, my following was like at, you know, maybe 1,000 approaching 2. Then I started posting more and more of my videos, and now I'm like at 4K. And then, like, a lot of people have messaged me, and they'll tell me, like, how inspiring I am. I had someone write me from France. I had someone write me from London. I've had a couple people write me from Kenya. So it's like, they're all over the place, and they're like literally DMing me all the time, and I'm just like, wow, Like people are actually listening to my stuff. So I don't know if that makes me feel good. And I have like my number and my email. So like random people will call me and they'll tell me like, oh my God. And I'll be like, yo, this is really happening? Like what? Like, so I don't know. Like,
oh yeah, so you have established a name for yourself, yeah.
Like I'm trying.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're real to yourself and you know you're real with your work, people will gravitate to you because like I'm always nervous when performing anywhere. And like I literally heard about that open mic that night and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And then I got like crazy feedback. So I keep telling myself like, you know, as long as I stay true to me, then the people are always gonna feel it. And whoever don't feel it just means it wasn't meant for them to feel.
So what books do you read? Like, I know you must be a bookworm. You must be, right? Are you? You're not a bookworm?
No.
Wow.
Read a book in a while, but I just started reading this book and it's called The Darkest Child. And I'm like on chapter 3, but I've been like reading it hella slow. But that's what I'm saying. Like now, social media and Google and smartphones and I Google everything and I feel so bad for saying it. But like the other day I told myself that I want to read at least one book a month.
Yeah.
So that way, because I feel like my brain has been being fried since I've been home and like, you know, like, I don't know. I gotta read more, you know, on my history, religion. I want to, everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, right now I feel like I'm stuck at a standstill.
Well, I'm so surprised. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, I read this and that.
No, you know, in high school I used to read a lot of books, but like, now I just rely on the internet. And I feel bad for saying that, so.
It's 2017, so I guess, you know, hey, you don't gotta feel bad. Hey, do you ever feel like hopping off though, like just getting off of social media some days? Like, are you not that type of person? I know some people go through that.
That's where I've been lately.
Okay.
I told myself that I want to get off, but then it's like, that's my platform. So I was like, what if I, you know, limited my time? Because some days when I don't have nothing to do, hours will go by and I've been like, damn, I just wasted all this time on social media. Like, what? So it's like, you know, if I can get on every couple of hours or like maybe post a video, that's my only time I get on, then like, yeah. But I've had those thoughts though.
Because I know a lot of people go through that. It is hard too because like, if you do something like yourself or like, you know, somebody that has a platform on social media and people message you all the time, like you said, it's like, you kind of feel bad if you missed out.
Right.
Yeah, so just like, dang, man, I meant to message you back, but I wasn't on. So I understand what you're going through.
I don't, like when I was in college, my senior year, I had the toughest class of my life. And the professor was giving me a hard time. I had to delete all my apps.
Wow.
I would literally like leave my phone in the room, go to the library, and I'll be in there for hours because I was like, man, if I didn't do that, I probably would have just flunked out. Like, that's how bad it got because you realize, and then when you be in college, it's like you have to manage your time because you have parties, you have classes, then you got your friends, then you got homework. So it's like, what do I do today? Do I go drink? Do I do this homework? Do I party? So it's like, I don't know, all about time management. That's just something I had to do.
Would you like to give advice or would you like to say a poem to the audience out there before we close out?
Sure, my advice to anyone, you know, I once read this quote by Jasmine Mans, and she basically said that your words didn't mean anything until, you know, you start telling the truth. So I just advise everybody to be true to yourself. I feel like when you're writing as an artist, you know, whether it be spoken word, rapper, or singer, you should always be raw with it. Because I know like a lot of people tend to like hold back certain things because they don't want to be viewed a certain way. But my advice to you is to just, you know, say it how it comes and let it be that.
Awesome.